So what we're going to talk about is the relationship between inverse functions, between one particular function to the inverse of that one function. And we're going to look at the relationship between these coordinates, and also what is this part of the equation of a line of its reflection. So we went over this at the very beginning of school, the first 2 weeks. So we're just going to go over this to get ready for our semester exam. So let's go ahead and start off first. So the idea is, if you take a look at this graph, the first thing you want to see from this very first function is the set of points. So I'm going to look at the points as -2 and -4. So -2, -4 is my first one. This one is -1 and -1. And then my other one, it will be a 0, 2. And then my last one could be 1 and 5. So if I'm looking for the inverse, so basically going over here for the inverse coordinates, what's going to happen is basically your coordinates are going to switch. They're going to swap with each other. So basically, in other words, my x is now going to become my y, and my y is going to become my x. So if you take a look from -2, -4, now it's going to be a -4, -2. The signs don't change, they just flip around. Now this part, since they're the exact same numbers, I don't have to worry too much about this one. This one here, 0 and 2, so now it's going to be 2 and 0. And this one's 1 and 5, now it's going to be 5 and 1. So basically, this is the first step for inverse when it comes to their coordinates. If they switch with each other, if they swap, basically what's going to happen is it's going to have this relationship here first. The second part is basically, now we're going to take these points and we're going to plot them. So plot the inverse coordinates on your graph. So I'm going to go to my -4, so -2, -3, and -4, and then -2. So it's going to be somewhere located kind of off my page over here, but that shouldn't be a big issue. So if I take a look at my other ones, I have a -1 and a -1. And then I have a +2, 0. So if you take a look, it has this nice little linear behavior here. So what's going to happen is I'm going to create my little line. I'm going to go from point to point. I'm going to start from here to here. And if you take a look, it has a special relationship. In other words, basically, could I create a reflecting line where it can split it in half? So what's going to happen is basically I'm just going to take a look at this and just go about it from here. So what's going to happen from this point here is I'm going to create my little line of reflection right down the middle, going in this direction here and here. And basically, what would that equation be? Well, any equation for an inverse should always be this function of y equals x, and that will always be your reflection line. So reflection line, or your equation for it. And this is basically all the key parts for a inverse function. Go ahead and practice on your individual practice questions, your 3 questions after this slide, and good luck. Let me know if you have any questions.